I'm Gordon Hessler, the director of the movie Sinbad's Golden Voyage. I never thought it would be a big success, but it was. And I don't think even the people at Columbia really appreciated the film, because at that time when the film was finished, there was a whole nuance of different kind of picture making, because America was changing in its thinking and so on, and it seemed, in a funny way, almost old-fashioned, you know, in a sense, when you look back at it. But seeing it just a few weeks ago, I was astounded how well it played. John Philip Law was a big star at the time. He'd done Barbarella. Then it was just a question of hiring the actress. We did a screen test of 3 people in London, and we chose the English girl, who was very voluptuous. She was a model for Eastman Kodak. So in that time, we did a lot of work on the script to improve it, to make it a little bit less naive. So I was already at the script, but there's a good 8 weeks of preparation. At the time, Columbia was making all their films in Spain, where it was too expensive with extras and horsemen and castles to build them in Hollywood. And all their big pictures were being shot in Spain. You know, all David Lean's pictures were being done there, so that, you know, you inherited a lot of the crew. The Spanish crew was very well trained. They were trained by the Hollywood technician. And the set of the boat, the big boat, that was sitting on the outskirts of Madrid. and you could see telegraph wires and cars going behind. And it's a very difficult film to make. And I only had 8 weeks to shoot it in, and they normally took 14 weeks to do it. So I was under great strain to get it finished for them in that time period. Charles Schneer was a very important figure at Columbia Pictures, and he went on his own and founded a company based on Ray Harryhausen's talent. And the two of them had already made a couple of 2 or 3 successful films. Ray Harryhausen, on special effects, spent 1 year almost to finish the film. I'd already made another film in between before I could even start the editing. It took that, because this one man in London, in a tiny little studio, working all by himself. Just incredible. Sinbad was his favorite picture. But John was a wonderful personality. He was a sort of original hippie, I imagine, when we first met him. And just enjoyed life, and wherever he made money, he bought a home here, and so he can go almost anywhere in the world and find a place which he owns. He should have today an enormous career, because he's still a very good-looking fellow, got the same deep voice, has the same personality. Gave you the impression that everything was sort of laissez-faire, but he really did go into the script. But he's a natural, you know. Would make any criticism of him. He doesn't take his work seriously enough, and that may have been an impediment in the whole length of his career, where he could have gone up, because he enjoyed living, I think. You know, to have a career in this town, you have to be very aggressive and very pushing, and the competition was changing enormously, and then the whole motion picture business was changing. An actor like John would be put under contract, and if one film he didn't do that well, they'd still see he has the star potential, and they'd push him into another one, and he'd get a pretty good salary for the whole year, but not kind of money that the young actors can make if they become a big superstar. Well, it could also be that he was in Spain. At the time, you have to be in Hollywood